Hi, this is my video reflection of SED 579's online module project. I tried to record the reflection using screen sharing, but the audio wasn't working, so I'm going to have to do it via video. So I'm going to talk through my module without you being able to see it. So I apologize that that isn't going to be a little bit more functional. Thanks for bearing with me. So I decided to create a professional development session based on a session that I've implemented the last 3 years at my school where teachers come together with IEPs for students who they are about to meet. We review those IEPs so they can internalize the different components and be prepared to implement them as the new year begins. I decided that this would be a good topic for a module because it's something that I think is really important for general education teachers to know and be able to reference throughout the year. Sometimes I think that in the past, because we've had these conversations at the start of the school year, teachers internalize a bit, but not as deeply as they might until middle of the year when perhaps a specific component of the IEP, such as accommodations for testing, come into play, and then teachers would benefit from being able to come back and reference different sections of that content. So this module is going to be a more permanent product where they could come back and reference more about the IEP process throughout the school year. I also, as my summative assessment, decided to have teachers create their own at-a-glance document for an IEP for a student with whom they will work. And I did that as my summative assessment because I feel that if general education teachers know how to find information in an IEP, they can take more meaningful notes and be ready to implement that IEP more authentically than if they're just handed a one-pager from the special education team. So looking at my module, I decided to break the different components that would require content into different pages on my Weebly. I chose Weebly so that I could embed a lot of different types of media into the presentation, and I think that it allowed some good practice and application for teachers. I was thinking a lot about Bloom's taxonomy, utilizing the understanding through some immediate feedback types of questions. And then teachers are also going to apply and create. They're going to apply the knowledge that I'm sharing as they look for that in the IEP as one of the learning outcomes, that they would know the components and be able to find them in an IEP document, and also that they're creating that at a glance that they can use throughout the school year. So I'm going to just do an overview of a couple of things on the module. Each page is structured somewhat similarly, but with some differences. So I did a section for general considerations, accommodations and modifications, specialized instruction, least restrictive environment, and then additional sections of the IEP like transportation, extended school year, things of that nature. I decided to start each with either a short video with me sharing knowledge about that component, or a narrated PowerPoint, or an embedded video that I located on YouTube so that teachers would have that engagement piece ahead of time. And then my hope is that they'll see the content, think about it, and then be able to immediately look at a relevant IEP document and pull out the crucial information. So throughout, we jump back and forth between content embedded in the module and then that application piece using an IEP at a glance template that I created and linked to the first page. So looking at some different things that are within the module, I use several videos And in doing so, I thought a lot about Meyer's cognitive theory of multimedia learning and utilizing voice narration with visual supports to reinforce concepts. I did that a bit in the specialized instruction video as well as the additional sections video. And then I extended that into my content acquisition podcast um, for the LRE video, utilizing the principles of Kennedy et al. From 2014 with regards to keeping it to 3 to 5 topics, using minimal amounts of text on the screen, a lot of visual representations that would help a teacher understand the concept of LRE. Another principle that I tried to include often in the module was immediate feedback. That is provided with the Ed puzzle that I created. Students can watch that to learn more about accommodations and modifications and then answer questions about each during their work in the module. Also, there is a Quizlet as another tech tool embedded in the specialized instruction page, where after I describe the components of a specialized instruction goal and benchmark, the teachers would then match examples to terms to just reinforce that they are aware of the different components within the goals and objectives. I put some opportunities for myself to get immediate feedback as well. In the LRE page, teachers are going to take a survey where they describe the importance of LRE conversations and share their comfort or discomfort in communicating LRE to families. And that will help inform me with regards to future professional development for my team, and also how to improve this session to increase teacher proficiency with those types of conversations and decisions. At the end of the module, as the summative assessment that I mentioned, teachers would email me a copy of their at-a-glance page for my feedback. There's also a section for questions and comments that will be emailed to me through the Weebly site. My hope is to then gauge teacher understanding with those. In thinking about the summative assessment, I wanted to have teachers create a product that was authentic, and I would want to be able to give that feedback. It would be pretty easy if this was something that I was using at my school because I would have access to the IEP that they're referencing. However, if this was made public to more teachers, I may have to ask them clarifying questions to give feedback, noting things that I saw in there at a glance, but if I didn't have the IEP right in front of me, I might have some additional dialogue, which I don't think would be a bad thing in helping teachers understand the different components of that IEP to ensure that they really have that information. So looking through some of the other components of this module, I think that connectivism was a guiding principle in creating it. I wanted to take information from various sources, tie it to real life applications, and then let teachers create their end product so that they were really coming away with some meaningful learning from that time spent looking at IEP components. In developing the module, I also learned a lot about web development in general, but especially thinking about accessibility factors. I was really excited to see how easy it was to caption my YouTube videos, and the transcriptions were actually very accurate. I had to go in and do some minor adjustments and add punctuation and things, but for the most part, that was a really easy way to provide content using video and audio. Within Weebly, there were a few things that I would like to continue honing. For example, I was trying some screen readers just to see how accessible the content was. using those tools. And for example, my bulleted lists read really quickly. And at one point, I have a template that uses the term 1718 to represent the 1718 school year, and that read as like 1,718. I'm not sure if that's something that can be fixed, or if people who use screen readers have already been familiar with those challenges and it's something that they have adjusted to. But I would like to know more about it. I also just feel like I learned a lot about how to access tutorials and answers to things online. I've always been somebody who was more drawn towards reading and text-based resources, but YouTube had so many helpful videos and just how to upload and embed different things within the Weebly site. And that's definitely something that I'll turn to in the future. Throughout the course of the class, I've also just become a lot more familiar and comfortable with using video sharing. It's something that I've kind of avoided in the past, but I do see its application, and I've become more comfortable now that I've had to record videos and share them with teammates. So that's something that I hope to continue moving forward in my work as both a K-12 educator and also in the academic world. I think overall this class has sparked a lot of curiosity and showed me some of the possibilities that are out there with ed tech. I definitely will continue to look and to learn. It's been a challenging semester, transparently, so I do appreciate the support that I've gotten from the cohort and from Dr. Katz this semester as far as making the class meaningful for me and making it work with some of the other challenges that I was experiencing. And I think that, again, this is part of an ongoing process of learning as tech develops and I increase my capacity to use it in the day-to-day. If there are any other questions or things you want to discuss about my module or any other coursework, I'm happy to do that. Again, thank you for your time, and thank you for opening my eyes to all of the possibilities of tech in education. Have a great rest of your semester and summer. Thanks.